Hello there, Bonnie here for Intuitive Eating Wednesday. Gonna wait a minute for people to come on in as I go live on Instagram. All right, so I am live now on Instagram as well. So hello, everybody. So Bonnie Giller here, and it is Intuitive Eating Wednesdays. Now, you probably know by now that on Intuitive Eating Wednesdays, we talk all things intuitive eating. So I'm going to wait a moment, let some people come into this room here live with me. So if you're on Instagram, let me know that you're watching. Can you comment? And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, put a comment down in the comment section. I want to see that my comments are working. Louise, yes. Hi, Louise. Glad you could make it. We are talking about a very important topic today. So I'm so glad that you're here. So for those of you watching either live with me or on replay that do not know me, now Louise knows me for a while, but for those of you who do not know me and I'm kind of just showing up in your news feed, let me tell you a little bit about who I am. So I help chronic dieters break free of dieting. And how do we do that? By rebuilding trust in themselves and in food. And that is key. Because if you've been a chronic dieter for so long, what we know about dieting is that it stripped you of the trust. And I want to help you gain that trust back. Now, today we're talking about a very important topic, how to navigate body shaming that occurs in the doctor's office. Now, as always, I just always want to explain that you're going to see me turning back and forth because I do have my phone set up for Instagram Live, and then I have my computer here for YouTube and Facebook. So at some point, you're going to see my profile one way or the other, but just keep on listening and commenting. So if you can participate throughout the time, that would be great because we all learn really by, exchanging information and participating. So let's get started. I'll start with posing a question. What's the worst part for you of going to the doctor? So going for a doctor's visit, right? What's the worst part? Is it, the long wait time, sitting in the waiting room? Is it, the blood draw? Is it the unknown? What is it? What is the biggest for you? Fear, maybe it's a fear, hesitation of going to the doctor. So comment because I'm interested because based on the things that I've learned from talking with my clients and just people in my community, what is it? It's getting on the scale. It's the fact that you're going to go into the doctor's office and the nurse or the technician is going to come in and the very first thing they're going to say is, okay, pop on the scale. So is that something that you have feared? Because stepping on the scale for somebody who is perhaps living in a larger body, that could be very uncomfortable. And I would love to hear your experience with that, right? And I know, and we're going to talk a lot more about this in just a little while, that many times women, and we'll talk specifically about women, many times women will delay going to the doctor because of having to get on the scale, right? And this is because of the body shaming. This is because of the stigma around living in a larger body and the feeling you get when you get on the scale and the judgment that you feel. So what does feeling stigmatized for being in a larger body at the doctor's office look like? How does that manifest itself? If you've experienced this, by the way, please come and post a comment and let me know. Let me know. How have you experienced weight stigma at the doctor's office? So I'm going to give you some examples and you can kind of tell me if this is things that you've experienced. Being prescribed weight loss for every ailment that you come in with, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. You're coming in because you think you have a sinus infection. You're coming in because you have a sore throat. You're coming in because you think you have a UTI. Yet you're leaving with a prescription for weight loss. How many times does that happen? Having your health concerns taken less seriously and feeling shamed about your body size when the nurse reads your weight from the scale. Let's see. We have a comment on Instagram. Love Coach Dasha. Thank you so much for being here. I hate getting my blood pressure taken. They expect it to be high because I'm bigger. And when the machine squeezes hard and makes my blood pressure higher, they assume it's right. Great point. So, do you speak up about that? Are they using the right cuff size? Because I've seen that happen as well. So, what you're saying is they're correlating high blood pressure to your weight and your body immediately. That's what they assume. Thanks for sharing that. Louise says lung doctor blames any symptoms on weight. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always about the weight. Always about the weight. Your knees hurt, lose the weight. Your back hurts, lose the weight. When we know that people who are living in smaller bodies actually have back pain and knee pain and high blood pressure as well. You say, I make them take it again a few minutes later. And is it lower? Is it lower? And then what do they say, right? It's unfortunate. There's research from the University of Pennsylvania that found that women experience higher degrees of discomfort when being weighed at the doctor's office in the presence of others. And this means that more women are more likely to avoid going to the doctor, especially for, important things, cancer screenings, pap smears, mammos, colonoscopies, or whatever, or annual checkups. Always about the weight. It's always perfect once they take it again. LOL. They look shocked. Exactly. Right? Exactly. Because they automatically assume the blood pressure is high because of your weight. They automatically assume you're wheezing because of your weight. It's not fair. And it's unfortunate. We're going to talk about how we deal with that. Also, the microaggressions from the doctor. And that could look like a doctor's reluctance to touch somebody who's in a larger body when examining them, or kind of just giving one of these head shakes while noting what that weight is in the chart or the weight from the scale that the nurse wrote down, right? Just microaggressions. The bottom line is this. For those living in a larger body, the scale at the doctor's office turns into the enemy. Right? Many doctors use the scale and the checking of the weight as a means to motivate their patients in an attempt to change behavior. So, even if your weight is not the issue here, right? Again, using my examples, you went in for a sinus infection, you went in for, a sore throat or whatever, but they're automatically targeting that conversation around your weight to motivate you to make changes in your behavior. So, have they said that to you? Have you heard lose weight for your health? Lose weight. It's important if you want to live longer. It's unfortunate. Although many doctors and other healthcare professionals may feel that using the weight and the scale is a means of motivation for their patients, it causes more harm. I have had many situations of clients and patients who've walked into my office and they have said, the doctor told me if I don't lose weight, my diabetes will be out of control and I am going to shorten my life. Fear. That is not motivating because they don't tell you, well, how do I go about losing that weight? Because I've tried and tried, and guess what? It just does not work. See, they don't get that. They don't get that. A colleague of mine once shared that she was doing a conference. She was presenting to a conference of doctors. And she asked them, how many of you prescribe weight loss for so-and-so and so-and-so issues as your first line of treatment? All hands went up. About 100 doctors in the room. All hands went up. And how many have you prescribed weight loss multiple times to the same people? All hands went up. So she was bringing the point to them to say, you see, it just doesn't work. Isn't it time to focus on something else that might actually be a better treatment and stop addressing the weight? Really opened up the eyes of those doctors. And I myself am trying very hard with the doctors that I work that refer patients to me to help them take the focus off of weight and treat their patients from a weight neutral approach. So how do you handle it? That's really what I want to dig into because you're here and you experience everything I'm talking about. So how do you handle it? I have a few strategies for you, and maybe you have some that you have used that you can help others who are watching us. Number one, Show assertiveness. Be assertive. Here's the thing I want you to remember. You have autonomy to direct your health care. You owe it to no one. No, you do not all own it. Let me say that again. Jumping on my words. You do not owe an explanation to anyone for what you choose to do with your body. Although healthcare professionals may appear to be those authoritative figures, they're people too. They're humans and they need to respect and understand your wishes. Now, the doctor is there to service you, and you, by all means, are allowed to direct the services, the kind of services that you wish them to provide for you. And if being weighed is not included in what you want that doctor to do, then you have the right to say no. And in this instance, you can try saying something like, I'm really not comfortable with being weighed today. I'd like to skip this part of the appointment. Thank you. I'm really not comfortable with being weighed today. I'd like to skip this part of the appointment. Thank you. Now you can change that around any which way you want, but that's one script you can write down and stick to it. I'm going to share some stories with you, my personal stories, in just a few minutes. Number 2, you could suggest what we call blind weight. So there are certain times where a doctor might need to know your weight in order to make proper treatment decisions, such as prescribing a certain dosage of medication. It's not often, trust me, it's really not often. But if that was the case during times like this, having your weight taken might be medically necessary and unavoidable in order to you really to get the care you need. If that's the case, and I say it's generally not, but if it is, you can say something like, well, if my weight is medically necessary at this time, I'd prefer not to see the number on the scale and request that the number not be communicated to me in any way. Thank you. And then you always thank them. Let's just see comments here. Hold on. So that's another way. But in my experience, it's few and far between that they actually need to know the weight to calculate a dosage. Number 3, shift the conversation. So for those living in a larger body, you may find that many doctors make the whole conversation and focus of the appointment about your weight. And so what you can absolutely do is try decentralizing weight from the conversations you're having with the doctor and the staff. In other words, shift the conversation to your overall health away from your weight. Because we know, and you guys who are here with me live are sharing your examples of the conversation always comes back to the weight. They're always assuming that X, Y, or Z is due to your weight. And so you can absolutely shift that conversation. And you can even say something like, I do not want to be weighed. I do not use my weight as a way to understand my health. And I wish to have this appointment focus on my health independent from my weight. Again, you can say something like, I do not want to be weighed today. I do not wish my weight to, what did I say? I do not use my weight as a way to understand my health. And I wish to have this appointment focus on my health independent from my weight. Very powerful. You can also say something like, I have found that focusing on my weight too much is actually harmful to my health. And I do not wish to be weighed any longer at all in the future. You can also say something like, getting on the scale and having my weight read to me is triggering. I'm working on repairing my relationship with food and my body. Please honor that. Any which way, any of these scripts that I'm providing for you can be used in order for you to stick up for yourself, in order for you to be, no, I do not want to be weighed. Let me take a moment and share. Can you please share? We have several people on with us live. Share in the comments your experience with going to the doctor. Have you stood up for yourself and said, I do not want to be weighed today? And if so, I would love to hear how that panned out for you. as you're typing, because I'm hoping that you are participating, I'm going to share my own story with you. I have several actual stories, but I will remember once going, this is a few years ago, I went for my flu shot at the doctor, and the nurse walked in and she says, "Get on the scale." And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, because you have to get on the scale." And I said, "I don't have to. I'm here for a flu shot. Why would you need to get a weight?" And she just looked at me with wide eyes and she's like, "Oh, I guess you're right. Okay." And that was it. I recently went for my annual checkup, and actually I had two checkups almost like a week apart, one at my GYN, my annual appointment, and one at my primary care. And in both situations, get on the scale. And I said, "No, I'm not going to do that today." They look at you like you've got three heads, to be honest with you. And she's like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to get on the scale today. I'm passing." They can't make you do it. They cannot make you do it. Stick up for yourself. There's no reason for me to get on the scale. I do not want my health being measured by my weight. And I've said that to them as well. So, again, ask yourself this question. Have you in the past delayed going to the doctor either for your annual checkup, or if you had an ailment and you said, "I really need to go to the doctor to check this out, but oh, they're going to weigh me." Have you prevented yourself? Have you delayed going to the doctor because the fear of getting on the scale? Let me know in the comments. Louise says, "I quit the lung doctor when realized he was not listening and only fixed on weight." Excellent, Louise. And that is what you need to do. So someone once asked me in one of my group programs on one of our calls, she says, "Well, what do I do if the doctor insists on talking about weight all the time? And all he ever says to me is, you got to lose weight to get these numbers down." I said, "Find another doctor." It might seem difficult, but there are doctors out there that are willing to listen. I am not saying that these doctors are familiar with intuitive eating or health at every size. You might have to educate them. So have a conversation with your doctor about why you choose not to get on the scale, why you choose not to have your health measured by your weight. Get into that conversation. And if you see that the doctor has closed ears and is totally not open to listening to you, then you scurry home and you start looking for a new doctor, like Louise did. So recently, my primary care doctor, I went to visit him and we were talking, and he actually refers some patients to me. And there was one patient in particular he was, discussing with me, and how we can help this individual. And I said, this individual has disordered eating, bordering an eating disorder. I said, it's very unhelpful when she comes into the office and you weigh her. I said, because you cannot measure her relationship with food and the level of her disordered eating by a number, because previously he absolutely did. He absolutely had gotten back to me at some point after I did my initial assessment, and he said, her weight is fine. So she was not in a larger body, but she actually had lost a tremendous amount of weight due to her eating disorder. But her weight is fine. And I said, you cannot make an assessment of her mental health and her eating patterns based on her weight. In any event, he's so very, very open at this point to learning more about health at every size and intuitive eating and looking at health from other parameters and variables and not weight. Love Coach Dasha, you say, "Yep, I delayed going to get my back checked out because I knew they would focus on my weight and not the injury." Right. And then it gets worse. And then it gets worse. So you are harming yourself. You are harming yourself. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. Give me some thumbs up and hearts. I really like to see those. So I've given you several scripts today that you can use, and you could change them up. You can personalize them. But I want to give you the strength today to stand up to yourself and to not get on the scale if you know that they are going to give you the same old recommendation, go lose weight. Remember, weight loss is not a skill or a behavior. It's an outcome of habit and behavior change. So let's stand up for ourselves together and let's support each other. And if your doctor is not willing to listen and is so fixated on weight, the truth is you've got to find yourself another doctor. You've got to find yourself another doctor. Now, it can seem nerve-wracking at first to go in and to tell the nurse no, or tell the doctor no, that I'm refusing a weight. And by the way, they may even write in the chart, patient refused weight. Okay, so what? Big deal. I've had that written in my chart. No biggie. And they may resist at first. But remember, you are in charge. They cannot force you to do anything. We live in a country where, no, you are in charge. Okay? All right. Give me a yes in the comments. Give me a yes in the comments. I want to know if the next time you go to the doctor, you're going to say, I pass on the weight today. I do not want my health measured by a number on a scale. Yes, Louise. Go, Louise. Louise, we'll talk more about that in our group calls just to give you more strength. Facebook user, I don't know your name, but it just says Facebook user. I have not avoided doctor appointments due to concerns about being weighed. I have a lot of problems with communicating with doctors, but not on this issue. I don't put up with weight blaming. Good. Excellent. So you're giving the strength to other people, and I'm proud of you. Love Coach Dasha. I was a nurse 20 years. They really don't care. They only write down you refuse to make sure they showed they tried. That's a very good point. Actually, a great point. Sometimes they're just shocked. They're like, oh, wait, what? You're refusing? Like, because that's not a lot of people do that. Oh, hey, Claire. Not a lot of people, will refuse. So at first they may be like, huh? But they truly don't care. Like Love Coach Dasha says, they don't care. But they will write patient refused because yes, it is a check mark. They did what they were supposed to do. They're not going to get in trouble. Now, sometimes they're going to say to you, well, I need the number for the insurance purposes. I have to put in, is this correct, Love Coach Dasha? Because I'm pretty sure I had one nurse tell me this, that we need 3 parameters to put in to get paid from insurance. And I said, okay, blood pressure, pulse, and temperature. There you go. You don't need to wait. So have these comebacks. Have these comebacks. Okay? So please, it's so very, very important not to delay a doctor's appointment. Is so important for you. And if you're delaying those appointments, unfortunately, it's going to impact you in a negative way. Just go and stand up for yourself, utilize the scripts that I've shared with you today, and just say no. All right. Anybody have any thoughts or any final comments? Please share. Live trainings every Wednesday at 12:15 Eastern. The replays will remain in Instagram on IGTV and on Facebook and YouTube, right there on Facebook and YouTube. In addition to that, I have a YouTube channel. If you do not know about my YouTube channel, this is actually, if you're watching on YouTube, you know about my channel, obviously, but I do stream live Wednesdays on YouTube, but I also upload additional videos to YouTube. So just go to bonnie.tube. I made it real easy so you can find it, right? www.bonnie.tube. You will get to my YouTube channel, hit subscribe. You can look at all the videos that are there. So some of the Wednesday trainings are there, but you have other videos that are there because I will hopefully next month get started in posting new videos several times per week. I have somebody new who's going to be editing my videos, and I'm really excited to get into this thing with getting more videos out there. So hit subscribe, share the channel, and we're going to have more conversation around everything, okay? Love Coach Dasha. Everything is added into the billing, LOL, but if you document a refusal, there's not much they can do. Exactly. All right, so that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining. If you're listening on replay, don't forget, #replay and post your comments and thoughts, and we're going to come back and comment on that. I will be back live again next week, Wednesday. Can't remember the topic right off my head, but if you have a topic you want me to talk about on Wednesdays, please post it in the comments below or send me a DM either on Instagram or Facebook, and I will definitely get that on my lineup. All right. All right. So that's it for today, folks. Have an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.